Hey, what's going on, guys? Coming at you with an updated deck profile post Shining Victories, and today I'll be showing you guys my Yosenjus. So starting off with the monsters, we have the triple comma 1, triple comma 2, triple comma 3, the 1 Sujik, and then finally the 2 Shinshu L. I don't run any non-Yosenjus in this version, simply because under card demise they can become really dead if you draw them with Yosenjus. Basically makes it to where you'll have to choose between, say, summoning a Thunder Cane or a Fossil Dino or a Banisher, between summoning that and summoning your Yosenjus, and then you'll have to send something out of your hand to the graveyard at end phase. So it just doesn't really mesh well with demise. The 2 Shinshu L is in here because I do play the counter trap. I still like the counter trap now, especially with Twin Twisters. Just being able to stop that in its tracks to protect your back row is really good. Having a searchable Solemn Judgment is good. And then Shinshu L on its own, being able to protect your Senjus with its Pendulum effect and Monster effect is good on its own. And then I did cut the Sujik down to 1, simply because I don't want to draw multiples under demise. Its effect is good, don't get me wrong, it does help you push for more damage, but I very seldom needed its, like, say, hand effect along with its field effect for, like, that extra 2,000 to get over a monster, so I felt like playing 1, was the right number, especially to keep my monster count low for card demise. So that's it for monsters. For spells, we have the triple card demise. Do keep in mind, with Demise's interaction with your Senju monsters, Demise does activate at end phase to send your entire hand to the graveyard, and then the Yosenju effects activate at end phase as well to bounce themselves back to hand. So since they activate at the same time, you choose how the chain resolves there, and you can have Demise resolve first, to where you'll send the cards you currently have at hand to graveyard, which if you have none, you won't send anything. And then after that, all your Yosenju monsters will activate the bounce back to hand to where you're not losing them off of Demise. So that is why Demise is pretty good in here. Makes it to where, like, if you set all your back row, activate Demise, and then draw into your Yosenjus, you can summon out all your Yosenjus and then not lose them at end phase. Or if, say, you have Yosenjus in hand, you summon them out, set some back row to clear your hand, and then you activate Demise and don't draw any Yosenjus off of Demise, then you can just set the rest of your back row and not have to discard anything. So that is why Demise is just really, really good in Yosenjus, especially for getting to your floodgates and your really good back row. Then we have the triple pod duality to go along with it. And then the 1 upstart goblin for some more consistency. Just making sure we draw into enough Yosenju monsters, and especially making sure that we draw into our back row. Then we have the triple fire formation 10 key to search out all of your Yosenjus aside from Shinshu L. Then for 1-0s, we have the 1 Dark Hole and the 1 Raigeki. Massive removal isn't really like that good in a lot of decks, but it is pretty good in your Senjus when with Dark Hole you don't lose any of your monsters because they don't typically stay on board for your opponent's turn. And then of course you do play some floodgates that lock out the graveyard or just negate graveyard effects. So Dark Hole and Raigeki can be really good when you're just getting rid of big monsters and not allowing them to float. So that is it for the spells. For traps, we have the triple Yosenju secret move, basically a searchable Solemn Judgment. The only downside is that you need to control a Yosenju card to be able to activate it, which is where Shinshu L comes in to make it live on your opponent's turn. Even if you don't have that, it's still good to have for your own turn to make sure that your Yosenju plays go through. It can be really devastating to have your first Yosenju summon Solemn Strike, or to have Torrential Tribute played on you after your last Yosenju summon. So secret move is just really good for protecting you and stunning your opponent. Then we have the free Drowning Mirror Force. You can really make an argument that this card is just as, if not even better than Card Demise for Yosenjus. Like, this card is just absolutely ridiculous. As you know, with Yosenjus, they all bounce back to your hand to end phase, aside from Shinshu L, so you're typically not leaving any monsters on board for your opponent's turn. So the fact that this can only activate on a direct attack doesn't really affect you at all. And then being able to shuffle all of your opponent's attack position monsters back into the deck can be absolutely devastating. It makes it very hard for your opponent to be able to come back from that, especially if they've committed a board to like 4 or 5 monsters to try to kill you, and then you just Drowning Mirror Force them and they lose it all. Like, they don't get any graveyard effects, they don't go back to hand to be played next turn, or even at main phase 2. They just lose them all into the deck. So, yeah, Drowning Mirror Force is just absolutely insane. Then we have the 2 Robbery of Warlords. Obviously a really good floodgate right now, making sure that Cosmos really can't get multiple monsters on board. Really putting a damper on Burning Abyss, make it to where they, like can't play their Speedroid monsters, can't play their Phantom Knight monsters if they already have like Burning Abyss monsters on board. So overall rivalry is just really good and doesn't hurt this deck at all. Then we have the 2 Solemn Strike and the 1 Warning for a bit of a Solemn Trio. I was highly considering playing Strike at free or maybe playing a Chaos Trap Hole, but I did have to cut it to make room for the rivalry in the main deck. Then for 1-0s we have the 1 Bottomless, the 1 Macro, 1 Soul Drain, 1 Torrential Tribute, and then finally the 1 Vanity's Emptiness. So that is it for the main deck. Total of 40 cards. It's 12 monsters, 12 spells, and 16 traps. Now on to the extra deck. Starting off, we have the 2 Lightning Chidori. We really should never need to go into 2, but I did have extra space in the extra deck. And I have had a couple times when I was playing this deck before. Card Demise came out where I actually needed a second, so I figured why not. It is a really solid card for this deck. Being able to just spin a set card when summoned and then be able to spin a face-up card as well is just really good. Then for some other rank 4s, we have the 1 Abyss Dweller, Tiger King, Castell, Dark Rebellion, Diamond Dire Wolf, the 2 Gaga Cowboy, because you do have enough, you can sometimes get enough damage in this deck to where you can summon 4, get at least 6,400 damage in with direct attacks, and then go into 2 Cowboy for games. That's why we do have the second one. The 1 Harpy's Pet Phantasmal Dragon. This is one you can really summon and sit on at a pinch if you're in a tight spot, or if you're at a position to where you can basically win the game with it. Like say if your opponent's at least 6,000 or less, you could summon Harpy's Pet. It can attack directly each turn, and they can't target it for attacks, can't target it for effects. So there are some decks that have a really hard time getting over this. Then we have Sound on Our Arc, Giant Hand, the combination of Utopia and Utopia to Lightning, and then finally the 1 Traptrix Replegia, since we do play the 1 Bottomless in the main. So that's it for the extra deck. Now to wrap it up with the side deck. Starting off, we have the 2 Flying Sea, really good against the Burning Abyss or BA PK Fire matchup. Being able to summon this, prevent them from Xyz summoning, and then with combo 1 you can bounce it back to your hand and continually use turn after turn. It does conflict a little bit with Card Demise, unfortunately, but this is more something that I would side in if they are going first against me, to try to be able to stop their plays right in their tracks, before they can go into their Dantes and break swords and so on and so forth. Then we have the triple MST. You really don't want to discard in this deck, so that's why the triple MST is in here over, say, Twin Twisters. So just really need to get over that troublesome back row. Then we have the triple Imperial Iron Wall for Cosmo, the triple Mask of Restrict for Monarch, the 2 Chaos Trap Hole. These would come in place of Solemn Strike for like the Burning Abyss PK Fire matchup, also for Monarchs as well, since they have ways to get around Solemn Strike. Then for the final side card, we have the 2 Lose 1 Turn. It was really painful not to be able to fit this in the main deck because this has always been a staple in Yosenju's. I was really excited when this card first came out, and I did everything I could to get my play set. But unfortunately, it's not that good in the meta right now. It doesn't really do a whole lot against Burning Abyss or PK Fire. It doesn't do anything against Monarchs. Well, not that much against Monarchs. And then against Cosmo, really the best it does for you is kind of stall for you, since switches like their ships into defense mode. But overall, it's not that great of a card compared to, say, Rivalry of Warlords, but I still wanted to side it because it had its good rogue matchups, like against Pendulums, against Mermails, so that's why I did decide to side it instead of putting it in the main. So that is it for this updated deck profile for Yosenju's post-Shining Victories. I do hope you guys enjoyed it. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and also follow me on Twitch. My name on there is DrewDex. Feel free to follow me on there for some live Xbox One gaming. And I will catch you guys next time.